Hey, what's up? It's Jim and baby Sophie, and today we're going to talk about the Adventures of Elmo in Grouchland. The main reason I saw this, or so we both saw it, right, is because Sophie is a huge fan of Elmo, right? See? Watch. Look, Sophie is her Elmo doll. Elmo! You're just into yourself right now. You're not making this any easier. It's Elmo! Elmo? You want to hold him? Okay, so Adventures of Elmo in Grouchland. What's up? You look very perturbed by this whole situation. Okay, the Adventures of Elmo... No, I'm talking to that. Don't worry, okay? The Adventures of Elmo in Grouchland is the second Sesame Street feature film, and although the Muppets are probably the more hailed and watched film franchise, Sesame Street made movies out of their thing too, with Follow That Bird, and the second one being this, which was mainly to capitalize on the success of Elmo in the 90s, specifically after Tickle Me Elmo. And this was, I guess, supposed to be somewhat of a thing that they thought would do better, but didn't seem to do all that well, and was actually the final kind of Jim Henson kind of movie released up until like the Muppets in 2011. Was that 11? Was that 2011? So up until like Jason Segel rebooted everything, this was like the last thing. It came out a couple months after Muppets from Space, which this and Muppets from Space were shooting at the same time. This is also the end of Frank Oz's involvement in anything Muppet after this, as he retired from puppeteering after this movie. But this movie really wasn't even that successful at all. I believe it opened on October 1st, 1999, on the 30th anniversary of Sesame Street, but unfortunately it didn't do well and was actually on home video and DVD by December 21st, 1999, which is a really short theatrical window, especially for 1999. Whoa, what was that? Elmo has a blanket. He wants his blanket back. He goes into Grouchland to get his blanket back from Huxley, who takes everything he wants. Elmo has to go on kind of a road adventure type thing, which seems to be the genre of Muppet or Jim Henson movies, as like almost all of them, even Labyrinth, I think, are all kind of road movies. That seems to be a thing they're really into. See, the thing is we love watching Sesame Street together, Sophie and me. It's like one of our favorite things, right? You like to sit on my knee. She gets all excited. She drools a lot. And she drooled a lot at the beginning of this movie. And I think this movie works a little bit at the beginning, but the problem is Sesame Street has a ton of different segments going on all the time, and we're watching the newer HBO versions, but the newer ones, they cut around quite a bit. There's lots of little segments. I know they've revamped it a bunch of times since this version, but even this version is really hard to get through. You were having fun for a while, but then we had to take a break and have a bottle, remember that? And change a diaper and stuff, because she was like, fuck this. Like, she's been in real movies, like she saw Wonder Woman, saw Baby Driver. You liked Baby Driver, right? There weren't babies in it, which she didn't like that part. I made her this onesie. Hey, what's up? I'm a baby. Anyway, the main problem with this is it's trying to do this kind of adventure thing, with Elmo, and the whole thing doesn't really work that well. I think what Sesame Street is really good at is like doing these kind of fun, good moral messages or lessons or teach you numbers or the alphabet or something. But I think Elmo really didn't have a lot of... First, the songs were terrible. Vanessa Williams is in this for reasons that I don't really understand. I guess in 1999 that made sense. She seemed family friendly. I don't really get why Vanessa Williams is in this movie and has a song which they seem to cut away from. They are good at having like fun things in it to sort of try to entertain the kids. Like Bert and Ernie keeps kind of popping up superimposed. You have a lot of burps today. Bert and Ernie keep popping up kind of superimposed onto the movie, which was kind of fun. Really, this is all about Elmo, which, if you don't like Elmo, I've seen a lot of people, Elmo haters, review or rants on Elmo. Why are you seeing The Adventures of Elmo in Grouchland? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. And that seems a little silly. Like, we saw it because of Elmo, right, Soph? I don't particularly recommend this for parents or anyone who's like, hey, my kid likes Elmo, or I like Elmo, I'd watch this. It's like fine, but it's not honestly that good. Certainly, I guess it's trying to do what they did with Big Bird when Big Bird was big in the 80s, which was part of my childhood, and that was actually the first movie I saw in theaters, and maybe we'll review that one later. Maybe not today, though. Not today. I mean, we could. There's enough time to, but we're not. Yeah, I know. In this, it's like, I guess, sort of pretending to try to combine Elmo and another character, which was Oscar, which it doesn't really do at all. The Grouchland thing, it's kind of like their reason to go into this weird fantastical world. I did like Mandy Patinkin. I think he was a good fit for this movie. He seemed to have a lot of fun. He was probably the best cast human, because my problem with most Sesame Street stuff is like, I do not care about the humans. You don't really care about them either. I don't know who is into them. Maybe Mr. Noodle in the Elmo's World segment, that's about the only part, or the whole Noodle family. I like them. But Vanessa Williams, like, that part was weird. They kept cutting away to Elmo. It seemed like even the movie was like, this is not working. It's the only film directed by Gary Havlerson, who directed many episodes of Friends and lots of TV and a lot of Thanksgiving Day parades. This isn't really the greatest movie. It's 77 minutes and it feels like 2 hours, especially when your kid, who's normally a huge Elmo fan, right? I think maybe we overdid it with Sesame Street. This was like too much Sesame Street, but not enough of the stuff you like, which is the fun songs and the memorable songs. None of the songs were particularly good. I didn't like the moral messages, and it didn't have fun, cool animations in between. That's actually something I like about it. You're stuck in this weird fantasy dumb kids movie that nobody really likes. It does try to have you participate, which I thought would be cool, and you like the raspberries part, which Vanessa Williams was in, despite not being that good, where it's like yeah, you like that part, to have you like participate in the movie like most kid shows do nowadays, to say like, hey, Elmo's here and stuff like that. The Sesame Street movies have never really lived up to the legacy of the show the way the Muppets movies. Maybe I prefer the Muppet Show, but at least it got sort of close to that reputation. These movies don't, and I think it's because really what you like about Sesame Street is the variety of the whole thing, and Elmo and Grouchland doesn't really have enough variety and focuses on these human characters. Like, kids don't care about Mandy Patinkin. Really, you don't know who Mandy Patinkin is, do you? And especially Vanessa Williams in this day and age, and clearly even the movie didn't. It felt like it was trying to maybe get this stuff to kind of fit in. Apparently Mandy Patinkin was the last minute replacement, so if anyone has some insider trivia into the Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland and would like to leave a comment on who was possibly the original, oh man, you're fading. I think Elmo and Grouchland is not really a great movie to get into for kids. It probably did much better on home video, because most Elmo stuff and kid stuff does better on home video than it did in theaters, or I'm just assuming that, but it came out on home video so quick they probably hoped it did. I would not recommend this movie. If you're an Elmo completist, I would do it. I just did it because I thought it'd be a fun thing with my daughter, and that's her review right there. She was not into it, and she loves Sesame Street. This is really for people who love Elmo so much they will put up with a subpar movie that kind of is a bit of a mess, and scenes aren't really well staged, really well organized, and they remade the Sesame Street set, which doesn't work either. I think they should have just used the regular Sesame Street set than making a new one in a studio in North Carolina. I wouldn't recommend Elmo in Grouchland, or Goes to Grouchland, or The Adventures of Elmo in Grouchland. I would say just watch a bunch of older episodes on the HBO Go app, or whatever app you're watching at the time you're watching this review, and that would probably be a better use of your time than watching 77 minutes of this. So if you have seen The Adventures of Elmo in Grouchland and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to. He's smiling.